Hello and welcome to Friday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where today we're going to be having a look at a puzzle that has been recommended to us umpteen times since it first appeared. This is called Chaotic Archery and it's by Mr.Menace, one of my favourite constructors. I have read the rules and they seem baffling to me, so yeah, you're going to have to wish me luck with this one. I think it's going to be a long video. You will know better than me whether it is or not at this point. Now, I have some things to say today. First thing, and the most important thing, is I need to say a very, very happy birthday to Persephone. Persephone, not only have you got one of my very favourite names in the world, but we have a number of your friends have been in touch to say that you might appreciate a shout out today. So I think Dan, Zoe, Morgan, Chloe, Dreamer possibly. And you've been described variously as well. A ball of sunshine was a very apt description. So I hope that you have an absolutely brilliant day today. You have some very, very good friends, and yeah, and I hope you have a splendid amount of cake. Now, next bit of news. I did a bonus video today. I fancied doing a crossword on the channel, so I did that this morning. I did the Times crossword. The Times snitch, which is its sort of difficulty rating, suggested it was going to be difficult, and it was quite hard. But if you have any interest in your cryptic crosswords and want to learn how to do them, that video might be for you. I'll try and remember to put a card on the screen right now. Other than that, just to say, we are closing in on the start of June, when of course we are having, we've got two competitions starting on the 1st of June, all around Japanese sum Sudoku, a type of Sudoku which is magnificent because of course you get pictures if you manage to solve the puzzle correctly. And we have got a sort of normal size pack and then a bumper pack from Panthera, TheAsylum and grkles, and yeah, this is going to be very, very popular, I can tell you, so make sure you put some time aside, for you will need it. Now, all that said and done, let's get on with Chaotic Archery. Oh, the other thing I need to mention is it's possible I will get interrupted during this video. I hope not. As you know, we try to do these in one take always, but I might be called downstairs at some stage, and if I am, I apologise. I will have to pause briefly. Anyway, let's get on with it. What are the rules? We have to place the numbers 1 to 9 once each in every row, column and region. Regions must be determined by the solver, and each consists of 9 orthogonally connected cells. So you can see that rather than having our normal 3x3 boxes, we have nothing. We're going to have to work out where the regions live in this puzzle, and that is why it's often called chaos construction, and hence the word chaotic in the title. Now, every arrow in the grid, I'm going to read this slowly because I've read this once before and I was like, what? Every arrow in the grid corresponds to an arrow total in one of the bulbs, i.e. the digits on that arrow sum to the digit in that arrow's bulb. Both the arrow and the corresponding bulb have to be in the same region. The direction of the arrow is of no importance. So what does this mean? And the answer to that is I'm not sure. I think what it means is that we've got to allocate each of these circled digits. Have we got the same number? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, okay. So that makes sense. Right, so what we've got to do is allocate each of these numbers with an arrow. So let's say we said we were allocating these together. Then we would be saying that those two digits add up to 9. But I think we could be traversing much wider groups of the grid. Like that 9 could belong to that arrow. I don't know if that's actually true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No. No, I've managed to mess it up already. Let's try and find some. Oh, hang on. There, I could do that. That would work. So if we decided, oh, that's a terrible colour choice. My window's going crazy. What's going on? It's all windy outside right now. Right, so if we decided that these three digits, well, this arrow belonged to this bulb, then we would be saying that these three cells added up to 9, and we would be saying that these three cells were in the same region as that cell. Now, it's probably part of the solving to think about that, but I will think about something I've just thought of in a moment. Do have a go at the puzzle. The way to play is click the link under the video. I have no idea how hard this is, apart from the instructions are quite difficult, so it's probably brutal. Now I get to play though. Let's get cracking. Maverick flying past, it's all kicking off. Right, I suppose Maverick, it's the day today, isn't it? Top Gun 2 is out in the cinemas. And if I was brave enough to go to the cinema, I would go and see it. I'm very keen to see that. I like the first film. Right, so what I was just thinking then is, how many circles can be in the same region? So if, for example, could that be a region? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. No, that's a silly choice for 9. That's going to make those cells unreachable. So there we go. We've got a 9-cell region there, and we would have to allocate the 9 and the 8 to these arrows in some order. And does that work mathematically? I think it does, actually. So what I'm thinking about actually is the secret. Now, the secret is something I only tell my favourite people, but if you're watching this video, you're definitely in that coterie. And the secret is that any complete box, well, I know we haven't got any boxes, any complete row, any complete column, and in this puzzle, any complete region, which we haven't discovered yet, but they would, because of the rules of Sudoku, contain the digits 1 to 9. Now 1 to 9 add up to 45. So that means that this hypothetical red region here, the digits in it sum to 45. Now you've got a 9 plus an 8 is 17. So I know that these arrow cells also would add to 17. So these cells would add to 34, and those two cells would add up to 11. So it's absolutely possible, I think, according to the rules anyway, for you to have regions that have more than one circle in them. And that is a bit annoying, actually, because when I counted the number of circles when we were doing the instructions, there were 9 circles. So if each circle had its own region, then we would know that each one of the circles was in a different region of the puzzle, and that would sort of broadly start to identify where those regions live. This is very... How do you do this then? I mean, the other thing that I'm just thinking about as I look at this is that this stuff down at the bottom, how does that collect 3 different circles? It almost looks too difficult. This one, for example, that one there, that one has to get to a circle. Which, I mean, it can easily get to circles. Well, it can't easily get to... No, it can't easily get to circles, actually. It can easily... It can get to this circle, and it can get to this circle. But if even in getting to this circle... Yeah, this is difficult. This is difficult, because in getting to green, if it gets to this circle, then... This arrow can't be part of the green region, because if it was, we'd have 6 cells so far in the green region, and we would need to put in another circle as well as connecting this 5 to this 1. Now you can connect them up in a 9-cell region like that, but not in a way that picks up another circle. So actually... Oh, okay, but we could do that, couldn't we? Oh, bobbins! I thought I was about to get somewhere there, but no. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, that's actually... So yeah, we can put these... Oh, no, we can't. Actually, hang on. No, I can't do that. Right. I've just noticed something important. That That is true. Wow, wow, wow. Right. So, here is a piece of information that I think is important. What is the minimum sum of those 6 cells? I'm going to make them red again. I think the red shows up better. And the answer, well, let me explain that further. What is this, the minimum sum of these 6 cells if they are in the same region? And the answer is 21, because we could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 into them. But there's no way, therefore, that these can be in the same region, because if they were in the same region, there would have to be 2 circles in this puzzle that sum to 21, and that's clearly impossible. The highest we could make 2 circles add up to in the same region would be 17, because we couldn't use double 9 even. So that means that these circles here, no, these arrows are in different regions. So that, in a way, let's go to the pen tool. We can draw that in. The pen tool, by the way, if you don't have access to it, you just click the cogwheel to the right of the grid, and you'll get this sort of thing up. And you just click Enable Pen Tool, and that allows you to do magic like this. Sven, who is the programmer we work with, has done an incredible job in allowing us to do things like this when we're solving. And you can support Sven by buying Sudoku Pad, which is our software. And there's a link under the video to that too. Now, let me just think about this. So now, maybe I colour this, do I? So I can colour these. One of them is going to be red, because that seems to be the best colour to use. I'll make them red and green. So now I have to attach red to a number, and I have to attach green to a number. But green... No. Yeah, this is lovely. Right. We know that green is not the same as this, because if it was, there is no way... Wind's going around crazy again. Anyway, there's no way to connect these 5 cells to 2 different circles using only 4 more cells. That's simply impossible. So this is a different region again, and we can delineate this. And this is massive, actually. Now we can grow some regions. Blue must grow at least 2 more. No, that's wrong, because green must grow again to get out from underneath red. So that means blue must grow again. So blue, 5. So does blue have to join the 9? Surely it does. There's no way it can get here. I mean, no, there's just no way. It takes 10 cells to orthogonally connect this cell to this cell. So we've got to pick up... So the 9 is the only thing that the blue can be. So the green... So when we join the blue to the blue somehow, the green can only go upwards. And the green is a 3-cell arrow, so it cannot join to the 5. So the green must join to the 8 or the 9. So, yeah, it can't join to that 9, can it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No. We need 9-cell regions. So green has to come here, like that. It has to come through this junction. It needs to pick up one of these without hitting another arrow. I'm saying it without hitting another arrow. Is that true? Maybe that's not true. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I've got 3 more moves left. Yes, I can't. Yeah, I can't pick up another circle and another at least 2 arrow cells and pick up another circle as well. That's impossible. So we are. This green region only has one arrow cell and 1 circle in it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's so it's got to be the 8. Hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, and then we need the connection to the 8. So the 8 is green. And we've got to go there in as efficient a way as we can. And one of these 2 cells is green. but I don't think we know which one. But now red, look, has to get out. So red's got to come up here, and red has to connect to at least a 6 because it's a 3-cell arrow, and if we fill it with 1, 2, 3, that would add up to 6. Now it can't attach to that 7. I don't think it can attach to that 9, so it has to attach to this 9. That 9 would be too many cells. So does that mean that has to be... No, it doesn't. I was about to say, does that mean this has to be green? But no, that could be red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 2 more reds to build. 2 more reds to build. And if this was green, yeah, if that was green, that could be red. That's still okay, isn't it? Oh yeah, I tell you what though, because green's final cell is one of those 2 cells, I can actually delineate a bit of this green region, can't I? That's all forced. That's forced. I think I can do the outsides. Sven made an improvement that allowed us to draw the perimeter of the grid as well, which I like. So, right, let's have a think about this. So we've got what? Oh, I didn't mean to do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, okay. So the problem we've got now is that this blue can be completed in a variety of ways. It could be a straight line up like this, or it could be a straight line up like that, or it could be a wiggle in a variety of ways. So that is annoying. Right, so maybe I look here now then. Yes, because this region, this 8, I want to say it has to attach to this. Because if it doesn't, that would imply we need to get to another arrow. And we're going to hit this in doing that. So we'd have to have 2 circles and 2 arrows in this one's region. And I can't get there. It just can't, can it? And pick up all those. That's far too many cells. And we know it can't be 2 3-cell regions in a region because they would add up to at least 21. So this is a region. That is a region of some sort. And do we know this 9 isn't in it? I think we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So this is in a different region. And it's not in the region of the blue. The region of the blue, that sounds quite exotic, doesn't it? It's not in the region of the blue. So this needs probably its own colour, doesn't it? Yeah, I don't think this can be in the same region as anything I've coloured yet. So yellow actually has to get out, which is quite challenging. Because yellow could take this cell, but we know it can't take these 3 cells. So yellow doesn't overlap with this arrow. So it can take 1 cell here, which means it's got to take 4 cells over here somewhere, which means I think it has to take this cell, because otherwise it can't collect 9 cells. And that is pushing blue up. Blue can't come round this way or yellow will be cut off from yellow. So blue is nearly done. Now I want to say that this now has to be yellow. That must be true, mustn't it? And this. If this wasn't yellow, what colour would it be? Well, it would be some 3rd colour, and then we'd have to get out and this yellow would be isolated. So that's yellow, and the same logic applies to this. So now we've got sort of a rotated 9 shape of yellow and a fascinating puzzle on our hands. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And look at that. We've only got 3 cells left there that are even possible to be in yellow. So we have to pick 2 of those 3 cells to be yellow. And that means that what does that mean? I'm sure that means something. There's a 1 on the 8 arrow. Because an 8 arrow always has a 1 on it if it's 3 cells large. In fact, I can do that there. Look, I can do that there as well. Get rid of a 1. I've got to put a 1 in the blue region. So that's got to be either here, here, or here. the 9 region, this arrow doesn't have to have a 1 on it. If it did, if there was a 1 on the 9 arrow, that would have to be a 1 in blue. That would be very powerful, actually. Oh, that was an interesting... I just had the thought about where do you put 9 in yellow? 9 in yellow... Bearing... Oh, where do you put 9 in yellow? Oh, okay. 9 in yellow is interesting because it can't go in any of those 3 cells, and it can't go in anything we might put into row 7. And it can't go here, and it can't go on the arrow. So it's either there or there, which is almost beautiful. But unfortunately, the possibility that this is 9 cannot be ruled out, probably. No! It can! No, it can. Right, the way to think about this is not the way I've been thinking about it at all. The way to think about it is to look at the blue 9, which rules out those cells from being 9. So there must be a 9 in the bottom row, and it therefore must be in yellow. The yellow 9 is in the bottom row, so it's not there. And that gives us our first digit. Wow. Wow. So now... Now I'm wondering about 9 in green, but that might be the wrong question to ask. Let me just think about that. Where's 9 in green? Does 9 in green have to be... I don't know. No. I think 9 in row 7 is not in these 3 cells, and it's not in blue. Oh, no, we've got a 9 in row 7 already. Don't think about that. It's there. No, 9 in row 8. I think it was 9 in row 8 I meant to say. So 9 in row 8, does it have to... Well, if it has to be in those cells, it would have to be here. It's not in blue. It's not in yellow. So it's either in this cell or it's in... Yes, no, this is it. Right, okay. Sorry, I'm being very slow. But the regular Sudoku always does me in. Right, where is 9 in row 8? The answer is not there, possibly here. Let's put a little pencil mark in. Not here, blue has got a 9. Not in yellow, yellow has got a 9. Not here by Sudoku, that cell sees it. So that's the only place 9 can go, in green. And now I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I've got 6 9s in the grid. I've got 7 9s in the grid. That's a 9. Where do you put 9 in column 1? Can't go in red, doesn't go in green, doesn't go in here because of Sudoku, and that one deals with that cell. So that, oh, lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, lovely. So red has got a 9 in it. So this is not red. So where does red go now? So that we can draw this little loop segment in, or you know what I mean. So red can't hit this arrow, or we'd have to pick up another circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's not enough digits, so that's red. And that means this is some other colour. In fact, hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, if I knew whether this was red, that could be mighty. Those 2 cells. Now, what colour should we make those? I was going to say orange, but that's terrible if I do that. Maybe I swap this one. Make that one orange, and then I can make this one purple, like that. So that's all forced. So, and this isn't a circle, is it? So I don't have to connect this to an arrow. I want to say that this cell here is likely to be purple, possibly go here. This 4 has to be on a 2-cell arrow, so it's a 1-3 pair wherever it lives. I wonder what made Mr.Menace decide on the directions of the arrows, because the arrows can go anywhere. They are chaotic. I mean, positionally they can't go anywhere, but the arrowhead can go in either direction. I've got 7 nines in the grid. Right, where do I have to put more and more nines in? I've got to put a 9 in column... oh, bobbins. I've got to put a 9 in column 3. I think it's got 2 places, I think. Although if that was a 9, this purple would have to... I suppose, yeah, it could sneak out like that, actually. Right, where else do we have to put a 9? Not in column 8 we have to put a 9. And that can go in... only this cell. Good grief. Right, we've got all the 9s. This is huge. Right, so now look at this column. Where's 9? Not on an arrow. Otherwise the bulb would have to be a double-digit number. Not here by Sudoku. Not in those cells by Sudoku. So it goes here, which means that's not a 9. It means that's a 9. Which means that's not green. Green's got a 9 in it already. So that's green. Which finishes green. Now that pushes red up. Oh, this is such a beautiful puzzle. That pushes my red up now, because red's only got 8 in it and it can't take the arrow cell, because it would need to take both and put a bulb in as well. So that's red, and I think red is now finished. So red is done. And that pushes purple into the corner where it picks up a 4 and has to get out here. So it probably takes those cells 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Or 6. Oh no, it could perhaps be those 2 as well. Okay. Right, what's that mean then? What does that mean? So now we've got 9 digits, 9 in the grid. We know each of these 9s is in a separate region. I know that's completely fatuous and a knowledge bomb, but is that helpful? So we know that this 9 is not in a region that we've coloured at the moment. So that can be given a new colour. Yeah, because it can't be purple, because purple's already got a 9 in it. And then these 2 are going to have to be other 9s, other regions. So the 5 has to join to a 2-cell region. It looks like it's got 3 options. Oh dear. Oh dear. Is this where we just completely get stuck? What is it that I'm meant to be seeing now? I've got to put... oh, okay. Okay, how about this for some logic? This arrow adds up to 8. This arrow adds up to 8, but this digit sees that arrow, and this digit is not a 1. So there's 2 ways of making an arrow add up to 8, 1, 2, 5 or 1, 3, 4. So this is a 2, 5 or a 3, 4. Whichever it is, it means this is the different type of 8. So these are different. So that digit cannot be 2, 3, 4 or 5, because it will see them all. Let's imagine that's a 1, 2, 5 arrow and this is a 1, 3, 4 arrow. This cell sees 1, 2, 5 in its box and 1, 3, 4 in its row. So it sees all of the sort of possibilities for 8. Which means that this digit is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8 or 9, it's 6 or 7. Which is almost beautiful, but not quite beautiful. Okay. we know these two digits add up to 9. But there's, well, we know it's not 1, 8. That's all we seem to know about that. And we know these three digits add up to 9, which is either 1, 2, 6, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 3, 5. Ooh, that's almost very tricky, isn't it? If there is a 1 on this 9 arrow, and it's not that unreasonable to think there is, where do you put 9 in blue? Can't be there or there by Sudoku. And it's only got one more cell, so it would have to be there. So that's a bit interesting, but it doesn't have to. That's the problem. This could be 2, 3, 4. That's the only way that logic doesn't win. So can I conclude that this 9 joins to this arrow? I mean, the thing is, this arrow is a bit annoying, isn't it? That's looking like it could also join to this in a quite natural way. If this joins to this, 2 of these 3 are yellow. Sorry, I'm not understanding quite why that is important, I have to say. So is there some digit that is restricted that's not 9 in this puzzle? That's the question. Well, it's got to be 8, doesn't it? Well, I think it could be 1 as well, actually. It could be 1, because 1's at least we know something about in terms of 8 arrows. But if it's 8, why is 8 restricted? 8 in row 9 can't go on the arrow, because that would need a 1. So 8 in row 9 is in one of 3 positions. That is absolutely hideously awful. So, okay. Here is some beautiful logic. Where does 8 go in row 7? Right. The answer is, I think, it can't go on a 3-cell arrow, or this would need to have been a double-digit number. It can't go here by Sudoku. It can't go here by Sudoku. We've just said 8 is in the bottom row. So it's in one of these 3 cells where it can't go on a 3-cell arrow again. So 8 is in one of those 2 cells. But look, there is an 8 in yellow already. So that one of these cells, whichever is 8, is not yellow. And that means yellow must pick up this cell. So that's become the 8th yellow. And one of these is yellow, and one of these is 8. Oh, this is sick. Right, okay. And now that's a 6 or a 7, isn't it? Isn't the same logic that applied to that cell still going to apply to this cell? I think it is. Whatever this cell is, sees this. So this sees 2, 3, 4, and 5 through the medium of 8 madness. And it's not 1, it's not 8, 9, it's 6 or 7. And that is a 7. So this is a 6, this is a 7. And that means whichever one of these is yellow is a 2, 3, 4, or 5. And I don't know if that's worth. It might even be worth recording that. One of these cells is 8. One of them is a 2, 3, 4, or 5 because it's the counterpart to this one in yellow. So this plus this, say, if this was the counterpart, would add up to 7. They'd be the version. They'd either be 2, 5, or 3, 4. So Ah, so if that was yellow, this would be blue. Wow, okay, I'm stuck. So, no, that's not true. I was about to say it was not true. I was going to say if this is yellow, does that prevent orange from being there? But it doesn't at all. Orange could just connect very naturally that way and that way perhaps. And that, although that could be blue. Ah, it's all getting very cluttered. Okay, so 6 and 7 in green have to be in 2 of those 4 cells. That doesn't look helpful. What about that digit then? So that's the counterpart to this, isn't it? That add up to 7. So these 2 cells add up to 7. So this is a 2, 3, 4 or 5, which is maybe mildly interesting. Except there's really nothing looking at it that's helpful. That's 2, 3, 4 or 5. So somehow, some way, we need to be able to disambiguate all this. So, I was wondering whether I could do something in the bottom row with 6s and 7s, but I can't rule them out of the arrow. So I don't think I can. So what do I have to do next? I've got to... Have we got a way of building the regions at the top out further? Or this one maybe? No, this one needs an arrow and it's got choices. This one needs an arrow, but it could be a 2-cell or a 3-cell arrow. And this one needs an arrow, but again, that could be a 3-cell arrow. My instinct is there's some trick we can do around here. I just can't see what it is. I know that this needs 1 more cell, and it's one of these 2 cells. I've got a horrible feeling I'm meant to know about this arrow now, and like that it joins here. I can't... Well, if it didn't... Let's ask that question. If it didn't join here, 1, 2, 3, it can't join the 5. It needs 2 cells in it, so now we have 5 cells. Oh, maybe that's the point. It's got to join here because it simply can't get to anything else. Let's just ask that question. What circle can we get black connected to if it's not this one? Now, can it join that really? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I don't believe it. But apparently the answer is yes. Although actually, hang on, that would... I wouldn't have picked up a 9 in that, but I could do it just as easily like that, couldn't I? Or something like that anyway, to just make sure I left enough room for this to be of the requisite size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that would do it. So I'm not totally sure, and it might be possible for it to join that one as well. No, I don't think it can get to this one, but I have a feeling it can get to this one. That would make this a 1, 2, 4 arrow. That's all very realistic. Right, let's have a look at irregular Sudoku then. Can we do something with the law of leftovers? Where would we look to do that? I find this very hard to visualize as well because the regions aren't completed. I'm just going to, if you don't mind, I'm just going to put this as yellow just for a moment, just so I can stare at this with a bit more confidence in what I'm about to say. Yeah, okay, by the law of leftovers, I think it's true to say that these 3 digits here are the same digits that are the digit that's yellow that's not an 8 in these, because if you imagine a line delineating the bottom of the bottom of row 7 from the top of row 8. Okay, so there's a line, imagine a line coming across the grid here. Now, what we know is that we have to balance the Sudoku around that line. So another way of putting that is that these digits are not in green below the line. So these digits have to, I'm not doing a very good job of explaining this, but for every digit that crosses that boundary and moves out of its region then below the line, it has to be replenished by some other region poking in across the line as well, in order that the Sudoku balances, because we know this row needs to have, and these 2 rows together have to have the digits 1 to 9 once each. So there are 18 digits here, which are 2-digit 1s, 2-digit 2s, 2-digit 3s, etc., etc., etc. So by this green region poking above the line, we know that something else must poke below the line and replenish these digits into this bottom part of the grid. Now what that means, if you look carefully at it, is that which regions are crossing this imaginary line? Well, this blue region's certainly crossing it, and whichever one of these is blue. So let's say it's that one. So these 3 are poked out above the line. This one's poked out above the line. So if you like, regions that live in the bottom 2 rows have donated 4 digits above the line. Well, we know those 4 digits must appear in these 2 rows somewhere, because we know that there are, if you like, 2 complete regions below that line altogether. So these 4 digits have to be replenished from somewhere, and the place they're replenished from is those cells. Now these 9s then cancel out, which means these 3 cells are the same in my hypothetical example as those 3 digits. Now, of course, the problem there is that I've guessed this one, I don't know which of these is yellow, and I've guessed this one, I don't know which of these is blue. But it is true to say that these 3 cells here are the same as this digit, and this is on an 8 arrow. So we're looking at 1s, 2s, 3s, so I've got to put a 1 into one of them. I've got to put a 1. Right, these 2 can't, whichever one of these is yellow cannot be a 1, because the 1 in yellow is down there. So there is a 1 in one of those 2 cells. That's what we can conclude. And that 1 is in blue. Oh, that doesn't do anything. Although if we again, it's this. It's a similar point actually to what was arising when we looked at these 3 digits. So let me just think about this for a second. So if let me just think about this for a moment or two. So, this is where I hate it, because I almost feel like I just need to not say anything and just think here, because but I'm very conscious that makes for a very bad video. Right. Okay, here is, I think, something interesting. Right. I think this is right. Now, look, I think I highlighted these right at the very beginning of the puzzle. Those 6 digits there. Is it possible that those... Hang on. Yeah, okay. Is it possible that those 6 digits are all different? And we've looked at this before, but in the context of these being in the same region. That's how I looked at it before. I didn't think about it in terms of whether they could just be different generally. And of course they can't. Because if these were all different, then the bulbs associated with those would add up to 21 at least, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 adds up to 21. So that's impossible. There are no 2 bulbs in this puzzle that add up to 21. So that means that these are not all different. And somewhere in these 6 cells there is a repeated digit. Now or 2, or 3. No, it's not 3 because these have different totals. There could be 2 repeated digits, but there's at least 1 repeated digit. Now, here is the interesting question about that. Where does that repeated digit go in blue? That's my question. And the reason I think this is interesting is firstly, ask where the repeated digit goes. So there's a digit, let's say it's a 2, that's repeated in this sum and this sum. Now you can see by Sudoku now, where does that 2 go in yellow? And the answer, because we know yellow only takes 1 cell in row 7, it's going to have to go down here in yellow, because there's no room for yellow to exist above row 7 in this puzzle. So one of those cells will be the 2 in yellow, and now 2 in blue is not in this row, it's not here, and it's not 9. So and it can't be here because that sees the 2, so it has to be there. And that must be true, mustn't it? Oh, well, that has 2 implications that I can see. The first is that because that digit, whatever it is, needs to exist in blue, the only cell it can exist in is this one. So that cell is blue. And that completes blue. And this digit here is the repeated digit that appears in those 6 cells. Now, we also know that we can't have a massive repeated digit between these 2. Because, well, let's start with the obvious. The 8 arrow cannot have a digit on it that's higher than 5. 1, 2, 5. 5 would be the maximum. But if we had a 5 in common between this arrow and this arrow, then the minimum we could do here would be 5 different digits, say 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the 5 repeated would be 20, and that would imply there are 2 bulbs in this puzzle that add up to 20, which there are not. So it's not a 5 that's repeating, it's not a 4 that's repeating. I'm not sure it's a 3 that's... No, it's not a 3 that's repeating, because if there was a repeated 3, if there was a 3 here and a 3 here, the minimum the other digits would be 1, 2, 4, and 5, and the digits altogether would add up to 18, which is double 9, and we know that we know these add up to 17, which is not double 9, it's not 18, so it's not 3. So that means that there's either a 1 or a 2 repeating, and it's going to be a 1, isn't it? But that cell there is a 1 or a 2. That is the repeated digit that appears in both of these. And that oh no, that's less interesting. That repeated digit has to be down there in yellow. So now I would love to be able to, if we knew the repeated, how can we disprove one of the repeated digits? This is 125. Then this couldn't be 126, because then there would be two repeated digits, and you couldn't put both of those digits in blue, because this is not a Schrödinger cell. So if this is 125, this is not 126. It could either be 234, 2 would be repeated, oh, this is, I'm getting confused now, sorry. There's one repeated digit, but these 6 cells have to add up to 17. So they're either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with a repeated 2, or they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 with a repeated 1. And so does that mean one of these two has to be a 7? Maybe we've always known that. I think we have. Yeah, we have. That's just me being slow. One of these is a 7. Just looking at row 7's logic, this can never be a 7 on a 3-cell arrow. These don't seem to be able to be 7, so the 7 is in one of those 2 cells, which I'm a bit nervous about marking across a box or across a region. Right, can I use the fact that I know that the law of leftovers is telling me that these 3 digits here, they were the same as this one, and the last yellow digit. So one of these 2. So this is the repeated digit. Yeah, yes, I think we can actually. I think we can. I'm not totally certain about this, but wow, this is really confusing. Okay. Let's imagine for a moment I don't quite know how to do this. Let's imagine this is 135. Does that work? I think that might work. No, that's a terror. That's in fact, there you go. It's not 135. So in trying to do an example, I've just realised something rather beautiful. This is not 135, because if this was 135, we know that there is a 1 on the 8 arrow, and we know the 8 arrow is either 134 or 125, so there would be 2 repeated digits, and that would have to be a Schrödinger cell. So this is not 135. So this is either 234 or 126, so it has a 2 on it. So there is definitely a 2 on this arrow, which means this is not a 2, and this is not a 2. And, no, still can't quite rule out the possibility that one of these is a 5. So maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe it's more likely this is a 2 now, given I know there's a 2 on this arrow. Right, so if this is 234, this has to have 1 repeat, so it must not be 134, it's 125. Yes, and that's adding up very nicely mathematically, isn't it, to 17, which is these 2 cells, so that works. So, now, this is my question. We know in this example, this is the repeated digit, this is the 2, but we know that the digits 1 and 5 here have to appear in this cell and one of these two cells. And look at that. So there is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 quintuple in this row. And why is that interesting? Well, what on earth is that? Ah, I've broken it. Wow, wow. I'm being attacked by a fly now. That's not reasonable when we're in this state of discovery. This is broken. This is broken. This cell has to be, it would have to be an 8, I think, by, oh no, in fact, this cell is absolutely broken. It cannot be anything at all, I'm going to contest. And I think, let me try and explain why. So let's go through this again. By the law of leftovers, these 3 digits, well, let's do it the other way round. These 3 digits, and whichever one of these is yellow, let's just say it's this one for the sake of argument. Let's make that yellow just so we can analyse this. So these 4 digits have poked out of regions that began in the bottom of the grid. But we know that the bottom of the grid contains 2 complete regions because it contains the digits 1 to 9 twice. So these 3 digits have to be replenished, if you like, and the place they get replenished is in those 4 cells. So the 9s cancel, that's fine. This is the repeated digit, which in this example is a 2. So that's a 2. And now we need to put 1 and 5 into this cell and this cell, which means that this digit here is not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's not 6, it's not 7, it's not 8, because we know 8 is in one of those 2 cells. I can't remember how we knew that, but we did know that. Well, and also 8 can't go on the arrow, I suppose, and it's not 9, so there would be no legitimate fill for this, and that is fantastic news, because that means that this is not 2, 3, 4, this is 1, 2, 6. And then this can't have, so the repeated digit is 1, this was a 1. This cannot now be 1, 2, 5, or there would be 2 repeated digits, and this would be simultaneously 2. So this is 1, 3, 4. This is not 3 or 4. This is not 3 or 4. Now let's tidy up the pencil markings and see if we can understand more about what this means. So this was 2, 5. So this is 1, 2, 5. This is a 3 or a 4. One of these is a 3 or a 4. So these neither of these are 5 now. Oh, bobbins, and I haven't checked that this has a solution now, because it didn't have a solution when we did it the other way. If it doesn't have a solution now, I've actually broken the puzzle. I need this to be able to be, it can be a 5, I think. Let's just check. Yeah, this digit is a 3 or a 4 by the law of leftovers. One of these digits is a 3 or a 4. So this cell sees 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't think it sees 5. It sees 6. It sees 7. It sees 8 and it sees 9. It's a 5. Good grief. So this is 5. This is either 1, 2 or 3. Oh, this is beautiful. Wow, wow, wow. Good grief. This is really complicated as well. It's quite fantastic setting. Right, that's a 7 by Sudoku. There's all sorts going off here. 2, 5 and 6, I think, into these cells, just to complete the green region. I think that looks right. That's not a 2. But look, this can't be a 2, 3 pair, because this arrow will add up to 10. So this is a 1 and something pair, which means that's not a 1, which means this is a 1 in the corner. Now this arrow, how on earth does that work? Well, it's got to be 2, 3, 4. So this is a 9 arrow. Oh, it could take... Oh, no, hang on. I need to give it a circle. So I need to give it a circle, not this 9. That doesn't have a circle. So I'm giving it to one of those as a present. These squares are 5, 6 and 7 by Sudoku. That's not a 5. Right, well now this has got a 5 on it. This is not capable of joining this, and we worked out it's not capable of joining this, so this is now orange, which feels like a small win, doesn't it? Oh look, 2 is ruling itself out of here, so this is a 1-3 pair, which means that this is not a 3, and it means that this is joining up to an, oh, we already worked that out, it's joining up to a 9. I could have done that, so we could have got that another way. I could have worked out this was 5, 1, 3 by looking at the fact it added up to 9, but I actually did it by noting that there was a 2 looking at the stem of the arrow. Okay, now how do I complete my yellow region? I really would like to do that. Aha! That cell, I am going to argue, is not orange. Because if that was orange, what colour would those two be? And the answer is orange, because if they're in a 2-cell region, that is not equal to a 9-cell region. And if all of these are orange, there would be 2 5s in the region. So that this cell is not orange. Which I suppose means, I'm trying to think about what I actually do with this then. How can I actually fill that in any useful way? The answer is I can't. Oh, right, forget about that. Let's just do Sudoku. Maybe Sudoku was going to make things easier. 5, 6 here, 2, 5, 6. So that's a 7. 7, 6, 5. Which means that this row now needs 4 and 8. Yes, that 4. That's what that's there for. Look, 4 and 8 into the grid. Now this 4... I don't know if we know what colour we're anticipating that being. So, oh, I tell you something. Hang on, is that right? So I allocated this arrow to this circle on the basis it couldn't attach to the 7. It is true to say it can't attach to this, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, it can't. It can't attach to that. So what attaches to this arrow, which adds up to 9? It must be that. So these are in the same region. And I've properly run out of colours here. No, I've used grey. Oh, maybe I'll make this a different colour. I'll make that yellow again. On the basis this can't join to that. So now grey has a 9 in it, so this is something else. So, okay, I can see something interesting here. So 9 has to join to this 2, 3, 4. And I don't know how it does that. It's got a variety of ways it can make that connection. But the point is that this that gets left behind needs to get out. So this 9 and this 7 and this arrow must, because the only way of getting out is via this junction. So all 5 of those cells are in a new region. And I think it is a new region because purple, it can't be the same as purple because it would be too many cells. That's amazing. Right, so I'm going to make those blue. And now purple has to come down here, look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So doesn't that have to be purple now? Purple needs an arrow, and it's not this arrow, so it must be that arrow. It can't be this one, it's too far away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So maybe this cell. No! Ooh! That cell, so purple already has a 9 in it, so this has got to come out and be yellow. This must be the last. Yes, okay, I think this is all good. This is in a different region because it's got a 9 in it, and every other everything else we've put in has got a 9 in it. So this is the 9th region. It must have an arrow, so it's got to be that. Now what do we do? So this is a 1-3 pair, because it's got to add up to 4, which means this is a 4, which means that this is not a 1. Okay. Okay, so what does that mean? I'm sure it means something very important. How do sorry, now I'm starting to feel like I'm being slow. 1 hour 6 minutes. How has this been 1 hour 6 minutes? Good grief. If you just said it had been 20 minutes, no, 20 minutes feels too short. 25, 30 minutes, that's how long I feel I've been doing this. These 2 digits have to be 1, 2, 3 or 4. And they're either 2, 3 or 1, 4. That's not 4, so that's not 1. So this is a 1, 2 or a 3. This blue region, this arrow adds up to 7, and it's not 3, 4, so this is either 1, 6, which would have to be this way round, or 2, 5, which would have to be this way round. Which is, unfortunately, very possible. Okay, so what do we do now? How do we connect grey to grey? A direct connection would be 7 cells, and then that would push blue to, now hang on, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right, purple needs just 1 more cell. I don't think that can be purple, can it? Because doesn't that pen blue in too much? 2, 3, 4. What's the maximum number of blues we can take in between grey? So if we push grey down as far as we can like that, we could pick up 3 blues here maximum. That's still only 8 cells, so this is always blue. We probably just have to get that 1 more, and we're going to fix the position of purple. So how can we do that? There's probably a whole world of Sudoku we can do at this point, I think. That is what I fear might be the case. 2, 3, 8. What is the most difficult or the most useful digit here? I don't know. I know one of these is a... Do I know what I'm looking for as mine? No, I still don't know. There's a lot of correspondences, like this digit's the same as this digit. But I don't think that's going to be enough. That's not a 5. Maybe it's just plain Sudoku. Let's have a think about these 4 digits then. They've got to be 3, 4, 5 and 7. So 4 has to be in one of those 2 cells, look. Whoa, right, okay, that's caught my eye, because that's not a 4. So now I've got an X-swing on 4s in those positions. And that's making me wonder where blue's getting a 4 from. Where is blue? Oh, this is so gorgeous. Right. I don't know what this is going to do quite, but I've seen what it does to this yellow. Right. We've got 4s in these positions. Now, how many 4s are we expecting there to be in these 2 rows of the puzzle? Well, the answer to that is 2. There will be 1 in this row and 1 in this row. And we know those 2 4s are in those 2 dominoes. So we can't put the 4 we need in blue in this cell, in any of these cells. It can't go here by Sudoku, can't go here because of these 4s. So, in order to give blue a 4, we have to get blue down into at least row 4 of the grid. How do we do that? Well, given we've got to connect grey to here, there's no way we can give blue this cell, because that will isolate this cell from grey. So this is not blue. So one of these 2 cells must be blue. And how do we get to these 2 cells? Well, that's going to have to be via this cell. So that is blue. Now, purple needs another cell, so that's purple. That finishes purple. Like that. And now what is the blue cell that can get the 4? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's only this one. It's absolutely forced. And now we know 2 things. This is 4, which makes this a 2-3 pair and makes this a 1. And we finish blue. Grey has got to take all 4 of those, all 3 of these cells. If we try and put another colour in here and then get round it to get back to grey, we will isolate. So those are all grey. This 4 is seeing that square, which is a 3 now. Now we said that this was the same as this digit. I think that's still true. Where does this digit go in blue? Well, it's got to be here. So that's a 3, which means... oh, bobbins. I still don't know. Oh, maybe this will tell me. 3, 2... One of these is the 4, one of these is the 8. The 4 is what the yellow needs. The 8 will then belong to orange. Oh, for goodness sake, I don't know how to do it. I am so slow. Honestly, it's ridiculous. Right, these squares are 1, 2 and 8 by Sudoku. This is not a 1. This is not a... you don't know. That is not a 2, because it sees 2 in its own box, or own region. So... right, these 2 have both got to be yellow. That's very clear, though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've done 7 cells in grey. We've done 6 cells in yellow, this yellow. And we've done 4 cells only in orange. But we know that hang on, we know this one. Right, let's come back to this. I looked at this logic earlier about this cell, noting it couldn't be orange. Well, now it can't be yellow. And the only other region we've got left is grey. So this is grey. Does nothing, does it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we've got 1 more cell to take in grey, but I'm not sure we know very much about where that's likely to, or what that's likely to be. Okay, so where now? Let's have a look at... oh, I tell you something that might be interesting. Do we know what this is yet? We've got 9 here. So this is adding up to 9. It's not 1, 8. It's not 3, 6. So it's 4, 5 or 2, 7. It's not 4, 5. There are 2 4s looking at it. So it's 2, 7. Good grief. Okay, sorry. That's probably been available for a while. So that's now 2. That's 5. That's 5 by Sudoku. That's 6 by Sudoku, so that's 1, because we know we're heading up towards 7. So these 3 digits in row 9 are now 4, 6 and 8. Lots of even digits left. So this is not 4. And this is, that's an 8 by Sudoku. So this is 6, this is 4. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so now this column maybe? Oh, imagine if I find a clash now, I will literally weep. 2s and 7s, that can't be a 2, that's got to be a 7. That's a 2. Therefore, this is a 4. And this is not a 2. That looks very much like I want to join those up together. Okay, maybe have a look at this blue region. 3, 5 and 8. So this is just 5 or 8. Oh, where does 5 go in blue? It's got to go here. So this is 3, 8, and the 3 can be placed, and this is 8, and this is 1, and this is 8. So now this 3 is lovely, that gives me the 3 and the 2. These squares have got to be 8 and something. 8 and 4, yes. Oh no, not 8 and 4. There's a 4 already here. Don't make a mistake, Simon. 2 and 8. Okay, that's the 8. That's the 2. So this isn't 2, this isn't 2. This is 2 in the corner. No song. This is not 2. So that should be 2. That's 5. That's 6. That's 2. That's 6. That's 1. That's 1. That's 3. Wow. Wow. Okay, so this column has not got a 7 in it. Yeah, that looks okay. We need 5 and 6. That's a 6. That's a 5. In this column we need 3 and 7. That's a 7. That's a 3. In red we still need to put 4 and 5 in, I think. We can do that now. I think it is finishing. We're going to have to finish it and then figure out the regions. Right, we need to put a 1 into grey, and we need to put, so this is not grey, and it's, okay, so that's yellow, because it can't be orange. This digit is a 6, and now the missing digit is 7. We've not put 7 in grey. And it can't be there, so it must be here or here, and it can't be here, so it's there. That's the only place 7 can connect to a grey. So that's a 7, which means this is yellow. 1, 2, 3, so we need 4, 6s and 8s, so that is a 6. This is a 4 or an 8. That's a 4, therefore it sees 8 already. And we just need to put 8 in yellow, and the only cell I think it can get it from is here, and that's looking so good because it actually goes in and it's in the right place and it's not clashing. So that's 4, that's 8, which we know this was the yellow because 8's already in yellow, so this has got to now be orange. In fact, all of these have got to be orange, don't they? And that cell's got to be a 2. And let's just tidy up the regions and take a stare at this and see whether it looks like we've got it right. I think we did it logically, and it was extremely, extremely clever of Mr.Menace yet again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh, hang on, I want to do the perimeter. Okay, a very long video, but I hope you'll forgive me. That was just a sensationally good puzzle. I feel like it's right. I do feel, yeah, it's giving me a tick, which I think means that I've put the numbers 1 to 9 just once each in every row and column. I seem to have built some regions that don't seem to be overlapping one another, so I'm going to claim that that's a win. Chaotic archery has been subdued. We have hit the target, and Mr.Menace has yet again wowed us. Thank you very much for watching this long video. I hope that that's not too much for you on a Friday evening, and yeah, we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.